This is Justin AMZN on Tuesday, February 5th, 2019. Today we kind of had an opposite day from yesterday. Yesterday we came roaring up into the apex of the triangle here uh, and then rolled over. And today, so we technically did have a very strong rally from the open, but then we rolled over right down into the same apex location and bounced. And so kind of opposite from what we did yesterday. Aside from the first, 20 so minutes, 20, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, first 20 minutes of the market open where it rallied nicely. It was yesterday was a bullish candle, so this was a bullish retest. What was pretty incredible here is the price that it made it up to on this candle was 1665.26, and our line is at 1665.27, 1 penny away. It was kind of reminding me of what it did yesterday, looking for it to hold this level and getting in right here, and then it didn't hold and got stopped out, and then it moved to where I wanted it to. Seeing this happen here, it's like, okay, is it really going to just push past and then roll over? Well, it didn't. Today it actually held that high, so it was kind of opposite. This is the day it threw an upper wick past the line, just like this one threw a lower wick, or actually threw a close on the candle. Anyway, today this was not the place to get into puts. This was, or this was, and some folks were probably doing it right here as well. Thinking this was kind of a double top with the retest, and then this was kind of like a bigger sort of triangle, lower highs, kind of, putting in some lows here, and then it retested, looking for it to roll over, similar to how it rolled over yesterday, but it just didn't do that. It just kind of rallied. So, a couple opportunities to get into this bearish right in here as it retested back up and can't even get back up to the line. Possibly here, and then getting in bullish when it comes down into this range, and as it's breaking out from this really small candle right here after it's kind of putting in these kind of stair-step candles here. So we'll look at these couple locations. This was kind of the morning, 9:45 to 10, somewhere in there. So looking at puts, this is the 1650 put, 9:45 to 10. It was putting in a nice low around 12 all through that range. A little bit more than 12 in some cases. Right at 10 o'clock, it pulled into the low of 1184. But the price here, because it was lower than the earlier price, where it actually ran up into 1665.26. We're another dollar below that. So had somebody been looking to get in at 13, probably got stopped out at 12, looking to get into that same price. And so, even though the put didn't make it as high, even though the put didn't make it as, even though the stock didn't make it as high as this, the put actually dropped in value just because of the theta decay and probably some of the Greeks that just sucked some of the premium out by the time we got here. So, thinking of puts, it should be, a smaller put here than here, but it was actually the opposite because we lost some of the premium. So, that's a good reminder to not look for that same price unless you're looking, to have a much wider stop and, get into something that you're going to hold a little bit longer. But looking for that same value, there's really a better entry, and sometimes you miss it, So had you been watching this, it put in a low at 13, and then it's like, okay, well, it'll probably stick out some premium. It should make it down to 10. Well, 10's too far away. 10 was way down below. 10 was way down, down in the volume bar area. Anyway, didn't make it that low. But you could have seen this one, which was a lower high on the stock and a lower low on the option. It hold this area and then break out, and then come back down to retest. And here we're right back at the 13 level. So you could have done 13 by 12 here and maybe gotten filled. I don't know. The other thing I noticed in here is we got a really flat top here and then again here. And that'd be a great location to get in for a breakout. So this was really a great place. So 1145, we'll see where that is. Getting in like 15 by 14, looking at this as being a breakout here. So 1145 was, I can zoom out on the day here now. 1145 was right here. So as it's starting to break down, this was kind of the last opportunity to get in bearish, making the assumption that it should not hold this level. We should come back down a little further. And, looking at where we were there. So sorry, I have to zoom back out to show you again. So being right here and our apex level is here, then you got a little bit of range. And that was the move that it had. So that was an opportunity to, get in 15 by 14 and get out at 17. That's 2R. Even get out at 18. That's 3R. Just because you had a nice level here at around 15 that was holding, as kind of resistance here. Get a little taste of getting through it here, which makes sense because it dropped pretty rapidly here. So it makes sense that the put would move up, break out a little bit from like this level and then retest and then, give you another opportunity. So plenty of opportunities to get in bearish here. I think it was harder to get in bullish at the open, but, if you just look at what the open did, it had a, bearish 5-minute candle right before open. And then as it opened, it, just ran right past that. And you could have been bracketing that open or the pre-market 5-minute candle, getting in, up here, even had you gotten in at the close. Let's see what that would have done. So at the close, the opening 5-minute with a call, that would have been pretty pricey. That would have been $12. So 12 by 11 would not have worked. But you would have had to have a wider, a larger R to handle a setup like that. Would have been doing something like 12 by 9, and then just getting maybe an R if you exited up here at 15. So that would have been much harder to do. The open and the low here weren't a great level from yesterday. What was interesting is we almost opened within the $9, or between the 9 and 8. And my setup yesterday was 9 by 8. So, I noticed it today, even here, 9 by 8 could have worked, but you would have been exiting at 11. And then if you had gotten in here, 9 by 8 would have been stopped out, just like I got stopped out. And you would have had to wait till after it broke down here and then reversed, getting in 9 by 8, which this would have been a nice setup, but it didn't even go 2R. It only went up like an hour and a half up to the 1050 range. And that just would have been hard to, hold on to and wait for it to do something. So, maybe the 1675 calls weren't the right ones to get into. We're not that far away for a Tuesday. It would have been going from this up to here or from this up to here and exiting. And it's like you want to give it more time as it just kind of goes sideways for a while. It just sucks the premium out. So it didn't really go so directional any portion of the afternoon. You got a little bit directional bearish, coming out of this rollover and then another rollover here. And it just, by directional, I just mean over the course of an hour, it moved relatively quickly. Over the course of the afternoon, it was just mostly sideways here, for a couple of hours. For 2 hours here, it was mostly sideways. And it just got these, quick jogs here and then sideways and quick jog and then sideways. So you could have made some money if you had done a setup. So let's see. This was 1215 candle on the put or on the call. So 1215, 1210, 1220. So nobody actually bought a call on that bearish candle. And by the time somebody was buying it, it had already gapped up. So, looking for a setup, doing 8 by 7 probably would not have filled. Maybe you could have done it on that bearish candle and 8x7 would have worked, and then you could exit at 10, that would have been a good trade, but just things don't seem to be moving like normal this week. And like I said, I don't know if it's because it's right after earnings or what, but it just seems like a lot of premiums getting sucked out. And so I'm just going to be really cautious. Even seeing this right off the line, it's like, I don't know that I want to get into that. And, look at the put, it's like, yeah, that was not the right time to get in. The right time to get in was probably over here after it done this. I mean, maybe this to get out of here, probably this, that range. So that would have been this one. That would have been a retest of kind of a triangle here. So I'm always seeing triangles when I'm looking at AMZN. So I'm seeing a triangle like this and like that, something like that, where it broke down, retested, and rolled over. So that's what I'm saying. Some nice small candles in here, especially this one. This is a great small candle pair. This one, people are looking to go bullish. It's a bullish candle, and immediately you break down. And it's kind of an evening star reversal right here, but it's also just got 10 minutes of indecision, which gives you kind of more confidence that when it breaks down, it's going to continue in that direction. That's what should happen, So that's what it did. So that would have been getting into puts. That was the 14 by 13. 14 by 13 trade, taking that up to 17, maybe 18. So 14 by 13 up to 17, that would have been 3R. So that would have been good. The only hesitancy I'd have on that is because you had this high resistance right here of 15. And so if I got in at 14 by 13 and it just jogged sideways through here, I'd be setting a time stop thinking, okay, if it goes sideways, if it holds it like this and then starts to roll over, I'm going to move my stop up aggressively, after maybe half an hour or something like that. So that's a good time to have some time stop rules in place if it's just holding at a level. So anyway, I hope you notice on this 5-minute candle or 5-minute chart, I've got this colored differently now. So here's our downtrend channel. It actually kind of stands out a little bit better that, it should be down here. So on the daily, we're just going sideways, still range bound. And we've got the squeeze forming. We've got much lower volume. Nothing's really happening yet. So, we're just going to continue to hang out in here, I think, until we can get something really directional going. I would not be surprised if we got into this range over the course of the rest of this week. We looked like we were breaking down here. We wicked down, trapped some people going bearish here. We had that bearish gap and go because of earnings. And instead of going down, it's just been going sideways. It's been a really nice sideways move here. Now, all that could be just kind of a quick retest of 1665, and here's your longer retest of 1665, and now you're going to go lower. If it does go lower, if it gaps down tomorrow, that'd be another bearish gap and go. So if we're looking back at the daily here, let me zoom in a bit. If we're able to gap down in this range, even below the 21, that would be trapping everybody who's buying today and trap some of the folks buying from yesterday. So that's really the level to watch. The 21 exponential, we're getting down here at 1617, 54 again, and seeing what we do down there. So it'd be nice to get another touch down to the upper line on the channel. And, maybe that right here is a bit of a target at 1578.25 in a couple of days if we do have that, or even tomorrow if we gap down and do something like that. So, that's kind of what happened here. We had a gap down, we ran lower, we kind of made a target out of this line and that line. So what if we did that again? So this line and that line. So that would be on 2/7. Today is the 5th, so the 7th would be Thursday. So it could be a target for Thursday to get down there if we do have a gap down. Now, if we have a gap up, we could still see it run into some resistance up here at 1714.50. So otherwise, probably sideways. It's just consolidating, waiting for some momentum to build. And, it's been a little while since we had a decent squeeze. That, let's see, 3 candles here. That was a bearish one. Even though, there wasn't much momentum here, it broke bearish. We had this coming in here where we were losing bullish momentum. That went sideways. That went sideways in the range just above where we're at now, and then ultimately broke out. And then this one losing some bearish momentum was actually looking like it was heading up and made some new all-time highs. So, we're not quite there for all-time highs, but we could just grind higher, up a little bit into the range up here, following what we did there. If what I said is true, if this holds as another downtrend channel, and we're just kind of changing lanes on it, it kind of would look similar to this with a squeeze forming here, and we're off the low or off the bottom channel line there. So I guess we'll just take a look again tomorrow, see what happens. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.